Welcome back, Truck Sim fans. Have you ever taken a job and thought if there was a quicker way of finishing it, of shortcutting the route? Let's check this one out. From Paldiski in Estonia, all the way down to the southern tip of Sweden in Helsingborg. Now, the contracted miles on this external World of Trucks job are 379. That's what you will get paid regardless, whether you drive longer or shorter. But let's see if we can do it quicker. Shall we get into this? As we start this job, you will notice that the cargo is already loaded. We're going to get 25,000 whatever euros, pounds or so. We will then see if we can do it quicker than that 379 miles. So here's our first change. We go into the route planner and we pick a different route. Now, one of the ways you can do this is use the ferries. You're not driving, the ferry is. So let's see what happens. Our first change is to go over to Helsinki and then take the long route all the way down to Travemünde. Once we're there, we'll drive to Rostock and skip across to Trelleborg. Now, at the moment, the map shows us the wrong route. However, when we drive it, it will correct itself. Now, that looks a very different route from what we had before. The majority is now on a ferry. Let's get going. This, by the way, is the first video that I'm presenting in a much higher quality. New PC, new monitor, better resolution, better lighting effects and so on. So I hope you enjoy this one. As we notice that one of my friends there, Stubacher, his truck has just driven past one way. I'm looking left and right. Okay, we're clear to go. We see quite a few of those trucks with their labels, logos and so on them. One of my friends, Mo Skinner, has actually managed to find a way of putting them into the truck AI paint skins so that we can see our own logos as we drive around. What I'll do during this drive is I'll cut out a few of the bits of the longer sections of highway, the bits where they're just a little bit dull. The first cut's going to come here. I'm going to go from this to a little bit of a vanity shot showing my paint job as we go over this bridge and see a train travelling below it. And no doubt you'll hear that annoying noise. We're skipping over those crackling bits as well. Back onto the road. Roundabouts and things like this one, I've noticed driving with people from other nations, for example, mind the truck, that sometimes people signal around the roundabout, sometimes people just signal off the roundabout. Depends what country you're in, as whichever is called normal. I'm from Britain. We're trained to signal around the roundabout. We don't signal if we're going straight ahead. We signal if we're going left or right on the roundabout. And then we also signal off the roundabout when we get to our junction. And while I was telling you all that lot, I was slowing down a bit because I was going a tiny bit too fast. Just in time for that speed warning device there. Another red light ahead, so we'll stop. Another look around. Shame about the rest of the traffic, but however this will give you a chance to see some of the more advanced lighting on this new computer, the reflections especially. I quite like it. Green light, let's carry on. I don't mind this truck being next to us with his car transporter, because we're turning off to the right just up ahead. It's almost a challenge, isn't it? Just to pull up to the lights as they change to green. Not quite on that one. Didn't want to risk having the Blue Mustang there do something silly like pull forward then stop, which is what they sometimes do. Straight ahead at this rather unique junction. I don't recall seeing another one like that in game. We'll go around the back of this factory unit, heading towards the port. Yep, all clear. Let's go forward then. The trailer I'm pulling today is a dry liner, and it has rear steering. It's a 3-axle, but 2 of them steer, so it's a bit more manoeuvrable than a standard trailer. Not far now. Let's see if we can get the lights just as they change. Yeah, there we go, without having to pull to a dead stop. Quickly skip forward to the port. You don't need to see driving through bollards and dividers and so on. What I am going to do though, at this point, after we've got onto the ship, one of the things when you travel to a new port is you always land on the destination pad, so it will likely ask you where do you want to go from here. So you can bounce in and out of a port using it as a stop-off point on the way to somewhere else. Our ultimate aim at this point is to get to Travemund. What we are going to do here though is ping in and out of Helsinki. So our first choice destinations is Helsinki, a small journey just across the sea there. As soon as we get there, we're going to see that we get offered another choice, and that choice gives us either the place we've just come from or the one we actually want to go to. So we're going to go to Travemund. It's a nice way to spend a day, isn't it, on a ship for 24 hours? Well, now we're in Germany. So we've let the shipping take us the majority of the way. Now all we've got to do is a short journey to Rostock and then across to Sweden. So as we pull out of this big shipping port here, we can see that our route has already started to save us time. Ignore the clock, we're about 2 days further on actually. I think there's been something like 27 hours worth of ferry time in the journey so far, and probably only about 3 hours worth of driving. I wonder if we're going to see any more customised trucks. There's one. That looks like another one of Stubacker's, yes. I feel another moment of skipping ahead on this journey coming up soon. There we go. Let's get to the point where we're pulling off towards the port in Rostock. It's funny how some of the cars don't sound at all like how they should. The small hairdryer noise of a car going past us just then. Now I'm reliably informed by some of my German friends that it doesn't matter if you go a little bit over the speed limit. Not quite sure how much of a little bit is permitted over in Germany, but here we go. We're at 90 kilometers an hour in an 80 kilometer an hour zone, or in miles per hour, 56 in a 50. Okay, skip forward again. Nearing the port. Nothing that way, something this way, there's a bus coming. Let's wait for it. Will he let us out? Oh, actually he will do, yes. Thank you very much. Quick toot to the horn to say thank you. And we carry on. Now some ports in this game, if you've played it for a while you'll know what I mean about this. Some ports drive you straight onto the ship. Others just set you down at an embarkation point. Somewhere where you will wait for the ferry, but not actually on the ferry. So we've already been to a port where you wait on the ship, and here is one where you just book your travel from the car park and board at a later time. Either way, you still pick where you want to go. We want to go over here to Freiburg, and then exactly the same as before, make your choice, click embark, travel across the sea. Plenty of space, let's pull out. Well, the road from here is fairly straight and boring, so we'll skip forward again to a point nearer our destination. Wonderful. The destination's just a little bit further ahead. This is quite a tight car park area, small supermarket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the usual thing, which is to pick the highest point parking challenge and see where it leads me to. Right there, I've got to turn around at some point. So what I'll do is I'll drive past the stop point. I'll quickly turn around, but we'll skip the video forward a bit more, so that's just a bit dull, isn't it? Here we go. We're now back where we were, but in the opposite direction. And I'm now going to reverse back into the parking space so that I can offload the cargo. And there we go. Once we've done that, it gives us a chance, after we get our pay and XP and all the rest of it, to see just how short we managed to make that journey. Up there is the total driven distance, 191 miles. If you remember, the contract distance was 379 miles. That means we've saved nearly 180 miles. That's the journey before, 379, as you can see there. But what has it done to my World of Trucks total? Here's before I took that cargo, and you need to look at the European contracts on the left-hand side, and the total miles driven. There you go. So actually, although I've only driven 191 miles, I've been awarded 379 on World of Trucks. Thanks for watching. You know the drill.